mind. In the end, it's all that matters. I was asked not much more than a year ago, on the 10th anniversary of the opening of my library, what the most important thing that I accomplished as president was. And I said, shared prosperity. Under President Reagan, who had the only successful trickle-down economics term, because it ever had run deficits and just gone crazy before in peacetime. So we had like one long stimulus program. The top 5% did do better under Reagan than they did under me. Everybody else did better when I was president. If you start at the middle 20% is 70% better. The next 20% down more than twice as well. But the thing I'm proudest of, and the Senator mentioned it, is that the bottom 20% increased their income by 30 times as much, and 100 times as many people moved out of poverty. That's what the Democratic Party, that's what the Democratic Party is about. And it's more economic. So when Hillary talks about voting rights and ending Citizens United, is to give a society that can produce those kind of results. When she talks about the importance of getting more women in the workforce, incidentally, we don't rank in the top 20 anymore. We were always in the top 10 until the last 10 years. But we're one of only 7 countries without paid leave. We don't have equal pay. We don't have affordable child care for everybody. And everybody else we're competing with does. So if we're not going to grow through immigration, we got to have more women in the workforce. That's one of the reasons that we haven't seen the wages pick up yet. It's an economic animal up there. But we got to do it together. Look at you. Can you imagine what this crowd would look like 50 years ago? I mean, even into that. There'd be a lot more people like me, old gray-haired white guys, jackets on, and glad my demographics not been entirely eliminated in this audience. But this is an exciting time to be alive. And it's criminal to leave people behind. And it's crazy to spend our time fighting each other when if we join hands there is nothing we can't do. But we got to fight for it. And we got to tell people who think they may be lured by people that say, this other guy's madder than she is. And that feels authentic. And besides, the slogans are easier to say. And I say that in no disrespect to our government. Here's what I know. Did any of you watch the last Democratic debate? Yeah. Okay. First, it was clear that she was the only one that was really on top of the foreign policy stuff. And that is really important. But the most important thing to me, as someone who's been president, and I had no idea this was going to happen, neither did they, was the last question, which reflected well on both of their values and character, but told you all you need to know. The last question was, is there anything we haven't talked about that you would like to discuss? And they called on Hillary first. And she said, yeah, I'm really upset about this lead poisoning and water poisoning. Neighborhoods never would have happened, or it would have been fixed before now. And then she said, when it happened, immediately we got in touch with the mayor. I asked if I could send somebody down. I did. The person talked to the mayor and said, what can we do to help? And the mayor explained that they'd only gotten 10% of the money they asked for from the state. And he explained why they needed it all. He gave us good arguments. And then said, what we really need is for somebody like Hillary to go on national television and plead our case, because we think if people really knew how bad this was, and you know, when pregnant women, my daughter's pregnant again, I got to think about this. When pregnant women are exposed to too much leaded water they can give birth to babies with severely shrunken heads and brain innocence. And even if they aren't subject to apparent physical deformities, it can be very bad for their brains. And so she did the interview. And then they got the money. Now, she was the only one who did that. When they asked her opponent, he was a good person, and he was outraged. And it was genuine. But what he said was, the governor ought to resign. Now maybe he should, I don't think he will. But the point is, it's easy to place blame. It's hard to make change. It's hard to make change. And when you're president, there are those great, great days. Like today I signed the economic plan to reverse trickle-down economics. Today President Obama signed the health care bill. There are great days. The day we had the Israelis and the Palestinians on the White House, on the day the Bosnian War ended, the day we got the Irish peace, there are great days. There are terrible days. I just went to Israel for one of the worst days of my life, the commemoration of the 20th anniversary of the murder of Prime Minister Rabin. If he lived, we'd have peace in Israel today. And I remember the night my Commerce Secretary was killed when the plane he was on crashed into a mountain in Croatia, taking a group of Americans trying to help the Bosnians put their lives back together. Ron Brown is the finest Commerce Secretary this country has had in 60 years. So, I know, but there are all the other days. If you're president, there are all the other days, and you can make something good happen to people every day. A real change agent makes something good happen every day. When Hillary got out of law school, women were in a minority. She had a degree from a fancy school. She could have gone anywhere and done anything. She went to work for the Children's Defense Fund. She worked on a lot of projects, but the two that impressed me most is she went to Alabama and posed as a mother to come in there and went to one of those segregated academies, and because they were claiming tax exemptions of your money that they weren't entitled to. And she walked into that academy and said she had a little child she wanted to enroll, but she said, I really want to know if it's going to be an all-white school. Now, this was in the early 70s. And they said, oh, yes, ma'am. She had them. But that was a gutsy thing to do back then. Then she went to South Carolina, the home of the founder of the Children's Defense Fund, Marion Wright Edelman, to find out how come so many African-American teenagers were being kept for years and years and years in adult prisons. And they made a report on that, and they changed that too. She's made something good happen every place she's ever been. You know what? Maybe one day when I started, she skipped in the room and said, I found something wonderful. I said, what is it? She said, we got a real problem, Bill. We're so poor in some places, especially in the Mississippi Delta, where the population is predominantly African American, and in the Ozark Mountains, where it was predominantly white hillbillies. Our folks. But they were poor. 6 of the poorest counties in America were there then. 3 and 3. And she said, all these little kids have parents who can't read. They're starting school not able to learn. They'll never catch up. There was no kindergarten, much less any pre-kindergarten, much less any child care was standing. She said, I found a program in Israel called Home Instruction Program for Preschool Youngsters. Teaches these folks to be their kids' first teachers. It's working like a charm. And we ought to bring it here. I said, well, how in the world are we going to do that? She said, oh, we are. Well, I just called the woman who founded the program. She'll be here in 10 days. Next thing you know it, she's dragging me around these little hippie graduations all over the state. Next thing you know it, it's in 26 American states. So before there was kindergarten everywhere, before there was pre-kindergarten, there were thousands and thousands and thousands of young people who started school better prepared to learn and have had better lives because she always makes something good happen. grew up with in the Chicago area are campaigning for in Iowa. If your best friend at 12 is still your best friend, all those things Republicans say about her can't be true. And unless they have a toy theft ring, you are by definition a good person if you still got your best friend from childhood. Then in a few days, there'll be nearly 90 people from Arkansas going all the way to New Hampshire from Arkansas, paying their expenses, and a lot of them can barely afford it. She hasn't lived there in 23 years, but they know her. They believe in her, they trust her, and they're going to go door to door to try to do what they think is right for America's future. That's what I want you to do here. Las Vegas has been good to us. Nevada's been good to us. You voted for me twice. We're very good. You guys remember this election is about you and your future. This election is about who is going to allow you to shout from the rooftops at the end of the next president's service, yes, we're better off than we were. Yes, our kids have a brighter future. Yes, we're coming together, not being torn apart. Yes, we're safer and stronger in a world that's working together instead of fighting and killing each other. If you want to say that, elect Hillary.